Bright white lights flood the studio. The camera sweeps from above, capturing a sea of reporters, the furious clatter of keyboards, the low hum of whispers rising like a brewing storm. Lenses zoom in on the stage where a man in a sharp black suit steps forward. The spotlight cuts through the air and pins him at the center, making everything else blur into insignificance. Ethan Cole, the most powerful CEO in Silicon Valley, owner of Empire Tech, a tech empire, worth $8 billion. A man whose every word can send shockwaves through Wall Street. But today, what he's about to do will make the world stop breathing. Ethan halts at center stage. His crimson tie slices through the darkness like a blade under the glare of the lights. He grips the mic tightly, his gaze locked, unwavering, staring into the eyes of millions watching live around the globe. One heartbeat of silence. Then, a voice crashes through the room low, resonant, unshakable. Today, I'm going to do something unprecedented in the history of business. Right here, in front of millions, I will give away the entirety of Empire Tech, a company worth $8 billion to a man I've never met, a man who has nothing except a second chance. The studio freezes. Then, it erupts like an explosion. Screams, shouts, and camera flashes exploding like gunfire. Reporters nearly leap from their seats. Millions flood the live stream comments. What? Has he lost his mind? This is the cheapest PR stunt ever. Empire Tech just committed suicide. Hashtags rocket to the top of Twitter. Number: CEO challenge. Number: Ethan Cole lost. It. Number: Empire Tech shock. The camera cuts to the front row. The MC stammers into the mic, his voice cracking. Mr. Cole, are you serious about this? Ethan turns his head slowly, a calm smile curling on his lipsh's eyes, hard as steel. I don't joke. We've lived in a world where opportunity belongs only to those who already have everything. Today, I'm going to shatter that. He gestures toward the giant LED screen behind him. It flickers to live streaming, a live feed from a dark, rain-slick street just a few blocks away. Night. Rain drizzles like shards of glass. A man sits hunched on a cold park bench, drowning in a tattered gray hoodie. His shoes are worn down to the soles, exposing skin. His face was hollow, eyes sunken, and hair matted like it hadn't felt shampoo in months. He chews a piece of stale bread, eyes blank and lifeless. On the screen, bold white text, Daniel Morris, 42, homeless. At that very moment, a black limousine glides to the curb and stops before him. The door swings open. A flash of light slices through the rain like lightning in the dark. And then Ethan steps out. The world, watching through millions of screens, holds its breath. He crouches, voice calm but carrying through the storm. Are you Daniel Morris? The man blinks, confused. His voice rasps like rust. Yes, but who are you? Ethan's lips curve into the faintest smile. I'm Ethan Cole, CEO of Empire Tech. And I'm here to give you my entire company. Daniel lets out a broken laugh, a bitter, cracked sound that tastes like defeat. You're kidding me, right? I don't even own a pair of socks without holes. And you think I can run a company worth billions? Ethan lowers onto the wet pavement beside him, not caring that his $1,000 suit soaks in grime. His eyes bore into Daniel's. Sometimes, the people who've lost everything understand the value of a chance better than anyone else. I'm not looking for the smartest man. I'm looking for the man who will never take this for granted. A silence falls, Shivi. Electric. The rain beats harder. Millions of hearts pound through screens across the globe. Daniel looks down at his calloused, trembling hands. Then, slowly, he nods. All right. If this isn't a joke, I accept. The camera zooms in the moment two hands meet. One soft, wearing a watch worth $1 million. The other, scarred, trembling with disbelief. Their fingers lock, and the world detonates. Ethan guided Daniel into the studio. Flashbulbs exploded like lightning. Reporters shouting over one another. "Mr. Cole, is this real? Is this a publicity stunt to boost stock prices? Who is that man?" Daniel hunched his shoulders, shoving his hands deep into the torn pockets of his ragged hoodie. The blinding light seared his eyes, stripping him bare before the crowd. Every camera flash stabbed like a memory the headlights from the accident that stole his family. His chest clenched. Ethan placed a steady hand on his shoulder and whispered, calm and firm, "Walk with me. They'll say what they want. We'll answer with action." They stepped onto the stage. The MC stammered into the mic, "Mr. Cole, is this Daniel Morris?" Ethan nodded, voice cutting through the noise. "Yes. Starting today, he is the new CEO of Empire Tech." The auditorium froze. Then, it erupted into chaos, a storm of whispers, shouts, and camera clicks. One journalist shouted, "You just handed an $8 billion company to a homeless man?" Ethan's reply was like steel on stone. "Yes. And it will be the best decision of my life." He signaled. A legal aide carried a thick contract onto the stage and laid it on the table, the Empire Tech logo embossed in bold. Cameras zoomed in. Ethan signed with a single, decisive stroke, then slid the papers toward Daniel. Daniel stared at the documents. His hands shook violently. He had never held a pen worth more than a month's food. The MC's voice quivered. "Mr. Morris, do you have anything to say?" Daniel swallowed hard, eyes sweeping over the sea of facetious scorn, contempt like 1,000 knives slicing into him. Every instinct screamed at him to run, but then Ethan's words echoed in his mind. Sometimes, the ones who've lost everything understand the value of a chance best. Daniel clenched the pen, drew a deep breath, and signed. Camera flashes detonated like gunfire. Reporters surged forward like a broken dam. Twitter ignited with new hashtags. Number, "From Streets to CEO." Number, "Empire Shock." Number, "Second Chance." Within 15 minutes, the clip of Daniel signing the contract racked up 50 million views on TikTok. Headlines erupted across every major news outlet. Ethan Cole hands Empire Tech to homeless man. Madness or genius? Empire Tech officially enters the age of chaos. Late-night talk shows mocked the move. "Guess I'll go homeless tomorrow, might land a CEO gig." Meanwhile, inside Empire Tech's gleaming glass boardroom, the city lights glittered outside like a mocking audience. The air was thick with cigarette smoke and raw ambition. Karen Smith, the iron-blooded COO, her gray eyes as cold as steel, slammed a stack of reports onto the table. "He's betrayed us. We've lost billions for some cheap humanitarian stunt." An elderly shareholder roared, "We'll sue. Nullify the transfer in court." Karen's lips curled into a blade-edged smile. "And if the law doesn't side with us, then we'll make him step down voluntarily. This is no longer Ethan's company. This is ours." Her eyes glinted with lethal resolve. The campaign to destroy Daniel Morris had officially begun. The glass skyscraper loomed like a colossal block of ice, casting its shadow over the city below. Daniel tilted his head back to take it in, a wave of awe and suffocating dread crashing over him. For 10 years, he had lived in darkness. Now, stepping into this cold light felt like walking into a dream, but a dream that could turn into a nightmare at any moment. He entered the lobby. Employees stood in neat rows, but there were no claps, no welcoming smiles, only stares heavy with contempt and doubt. One voice muttered just loud enough for him to hear, "What a cheap circus act." Another sneered, "A homeless CEO? What's next? Make a cat." The CFO. Daniel gripped the strap of his worn backpack tighter and hurried toward the elevator. The doors closed, and the mirrored walls reflected a pale, disheveled man with hollow eyes staring back at him. He whispered to himself, "Don't let them see you break." Not this time. In another office, Ethan faced a barrage of calls from the board. One voice roared through the speaker. "Do you have any idea the stock dropped 23% in 6 hours?" Another snapped, "Ethan, if you don't reverse this deal now, we'll sue." Ethan replied calmly, though his eyes glinted with iron resolve. "You invested in me because I do what no one else dares. If you're afraid, this is your exit. I'm not turning back." He hung up, exhaled deeply, and then glanced at a press conference replay on his screen the moment Daniel's trembling hand signed the contract. Ethan murmured under his breath, "Don't make me wrong, Daniel." Karen wasted no time. She unleashed a shadow PR offensive, flooding headlines with smear pieces. Daniel Morris. The dark past of Empire Tech's new CEO. Can an $8 billion company trust a man who once slept on the streets? Photos of Daniel slumped on sidewalks, clutching a cheap bottle of liquor, spread like wildfire. The hashtag number Fire the Homeless CEO shot to the top of trending within 12 hours. Talk shows mocked him relentlessly. Empire Tech bankruptcy countdown starts. Now, Daniel sat in his glass-walled office, staring at his phone as messages poured in. "Clown, quit before you sink the ship. You're a disgrace." His hands trembled. His chest tightened like a vice. He turned the phone face down and glanced around the lavish office that felt nothing like his own. Beyond the window, the city glittered like it was laughing at him. He whispered to the empty room, "Did I just walk into a nightmare?" Late at night, the office was lit only by the glow of a laptop screen. Daniel sat hunched over his desk, his shirt wrinkled and his face buried in his hands. A worn photograph slipped from his pocket, his wife, and his child taken in front of their old home. Tears splashed onto the picture, blurring the smiles. The camera panned toward the window. A city blazing with lights. The man who had once slept under bridges now sat in darkness deeper than night. The music dropped to a low, aching note. The screen faded to black. Text appeared in stark white. "When the whole world turns its back on you, what will you do?" That night, Daniel didn't sleep. He sat silently by the glass window, staring at the glittering city lights beyond. The hum of traffic brought back a sound that had haunted him for 10 years. The screech of metal, the shattering of glass, and the screams of his wife and daughter. Flashback. A stormy night. The car spun out of control, crashing into the guardrail. Daniel woke up amid twisted steel, his body drenched in blood. He crawled toward the back seat, but it was too late. His wife, his little girl, gone. In a heartbeat. He screamed into the rain, but only thunder answered. From that night, Daniel fell into a bottomless pit. He drowned in alcohol, trying to forget. But the more he drank, the sharper the truth became. It was his fault. He lost his job, lost his home, and finally, lost himself. Back to present, tears streamed down as he gripped an old photograph. He whispered, "Jenny, I promised you I'd rise again. Not for me, but for you. For her." The door clicked open. Ethan walked in, holding 2 steaming cups of coffee. He set one in front of Daniel and sat down across from him. "You haven't slept, have you?" Daniel let out a hollow laugh. "Sleep? When the whole world is waiting for me to fail?" Ethan leaned in, voice steady, every word like steel. "Daniel, I didn't choose you so you could quit. I chose you because you understand something. Thousands of CEOs never will. People matter more than numbers." Daniel gripped the coffee cup, murmuring, "But I don't know tech, finance, strategy. I'm just a guy who lived on the streets." Ethan locked eyes with him. "No one is born knowing everything, but you have what they don't to reason to fight. So tell me, Daniel, do you want to give up or prove them wrong?" Silence hung heavy. Then Daniel lifted his head, a faint but fierce light flickering in his eyes. "I won't let them be right. But I need a plan." Ethan smiled, tapping the table lightly. "Then let's start with what you care about most." Meanwhile, in a penthouse high above the city, Karen sat before her laptop, her face carved in ice. She replayed a clip of Daniel's calm voice on a talk show, saying he was trying to adapt to being a CEO. A cold smile curved on her lips. "Let's see how long you survive." She hit send. Seconds later, journalists received a thick dossier titled Daniel Morris, A History of Alcoholism and Minor Offenses. Images of Daniel slumped on sidewalks, clutching cheap liquor, went viral. Twitter exploded. Number Fire the Homeless CEO. Empire Tech Collapse. Stocks Nosedive. Headlines screamed. The darkest day in Empire Tech history. As the media storm raged, Daniel called an emergency executive meeting. The boardroom crackled with tension. Karen sat poised, eyes like blades. Daniel walked in wearing a plain white shirt, no tie. No armor, yet his voice struck like a hammer. "I know what you think, that I'm a disaster. But I'm not here to please anyone. I'm here to do what's right. Starting today, Empire Tech will no longer be a cold tech giant. We will become a company that saves lives." A ripple of disbelief swept the room. A senior manager frowned. "What does that even mean?" Daniel's gaze blazed with purpose. "I'm launching LifeLink, a platform powered by AI to connect the homeless with jobs, housing, and medical care. We're going to turn technology into something that gives opportunity, not just profit." Karen laughed, her voice icy and sharp. "A noble dream. But it'll kill this company in 3 months." Daniel stared straight into her eyes. "Or it'll save millions of lives. And it'll save us." Silence swallowed the room. The camera slowly zoomed in on Daniel's face, not the face of a broken drifter, but of a leader reborn. Since the announcement of LifeLink, Daniel has become the internet's favorite punchline. Memes flooded social media. The homeless CEO who thinks he's a superhero. Late-night shows roared with laughter. Empire Tech isn't building a dating app. They're dating failure. Inside his office, Daniel worked until 3 a.m. every night. Cameras captured him slumped over his desk, shirt wrinkled, a cup of cold coffee at his side. In restless sleep, he dreamed of his daughter running toward him, her smile radiant. He jolted awake, staring at the sterile office walls, eyes burning red. A cinematic moment. He stood before the mirror, whispering, "Daniel, you survived the streets. Don't let a few words kill you." As LifeLink's launch neared, Karen convened a no-confidence meeting. She rose, her voice icy. "We've lost $1.2 billion in 2 months on this pointless project. All in favor of removing Daniel?" Dozens of eyes darted across the room. A hand went up. Then another. Sweat rolled down Daniel's temple. Karen smirked in triumph. Suddenly, a voice cut through the tension. "I don't agree." All eyes turned to the door. Ethan walked in, holding a thick stack of documents. He slammed it onto the table, his tone like steel. "Here's the data. If LifeLink succeeds, we won't just recover. We'll lead the world in social responsibility. And Empire Tech will be remembered as the company that changed everything." The room shifted. Karen clenched her jaw, but the numbers didn't lie. The vote ended in a deadlock. Daniel kept his seat, but Karen wasn't finished. Moments later, Karen unleashed her next strike. Leaked records proving Daniel had once been arrested for disorderly conduct while drunk a dark truth from his past. Headlines exploded. Empire Tech CEO has criminal record. Stocks plummeted another 20%. Twitter erupted. Number Fire the homeless CEO. Investors demanded Daniel resign. That night, Daniel drove to his old neighborhood, the park bench where he once slept. He sat silently for hours, watching the homeless huddle around a fire. And then, it hit him. If I quit now, I'm no better than those who abandoned them. He grabbed his phone and called Ethan. We're launching LifeLink. No matter what. Launch day. The air was electric. Cameras zoomed in as Daniel stepped on stage in a crisp white shirt. His voice steady, but fierce. For 2 months, people called me a joke. But today, I'll prove something. Technology isn't just for making money. It's for saving lives. He pressed the button. Behind him, the LifeLink logo blazed on the screen. For the first few minutes, only a few hundred logins trickled in. Karen's smile curved coldly. Then it happened. A video went viral. A homeless man, using LifeLink, found shelter and a job in just 24 hours. 20 million views in one day. Thousands of sign-ups. Partnerships from charities are pouring in. Headlines flipped overnight. Empire Tech. From the brink of collapse to a beacon of humanity. Stock prices skyrocketed. Karen stood in her glass office, staring at the soaring green charts, her hands trembling not from fear, but from rage. 2 months after LifeLink exploded, Empire Tech soared back to the top of the NASDAQ. But Karen, though removed from the board, refused to surrender. She and a group of former shareholders assembled an army of lawyers and filed a lawsuit against Daniel and Ethan, alleging illegal transfer of corporate ownership causing shareholder losses. The trial was broadcast nationwide. Millions watched. Twitter erupted with hashtags. Number Empire Tech trial number. Fire the homeless CEO number. Justice or par. The courtroom was tense. Karen rose, her voice like steel. Daniel Morris is a homeless man with no education, no experience. He turned a tech company into a charity experiment. Empire Tech is not a playground for emotions. Gasps filled the room. Cameras zoomed in on Daniel, face calm, but fists clenched under the table. Karen struck again, playing an old video on the giant screen. Daniel shouting at a man in a park, edited to look like a violent brawl. She smirked coldly. This is your so-called hero? A violent criminal. The courtroom exploded. Twitter went insane. Daniel sat frozen, eyes heavy with defeat, until the doors burst open. Ethan strode in, under a blinding storm of camera flashes. He walked straight to the bench and slammed down a thick file. That video is doctored. Here's the full footage. Daniel. Protecting a woman from an assault. The screen replayed the uncut version. The audience fell silent. Karen's face drained of color. Then Ethan's lawyer delivered the knockout blow. Over 230,000 homeless individuals have received aid through LifeLink. Empire Tech's growth last quarter, 61%. Humanity and profit, achieved together. The judge's gavel struck. The court dismisses the case. Empire Tech is not only thriving, it is redefining the future of technology. Karen stood frozen under the glare of camera flashes, leaving the courtroom humiliated. 1 month later, Daniel appeared on Time's cover, the CEO who changed the world. Interviews, podcasts, and global headlines followed. But Daniel gave one quote that broke the internet. I'm not a genius. I'm proof that one chance can change the world. Twitter erupted with number second chance. Corporations pledged to adopt the profit plus humanity model. A massive auditorium bathed in blue-white light. Thousands rose to their feet as Daniel stepped on stage to announce Second Chance Global Fund, the world's largest humanitarian tech initiative. His voice trembled as he said, I once slept on sidewalks with no one believing in me. Today, I want to tell anyone at rock bottom, don't give up, because opportunity can come when you least expect it, just like it came for me. The camera panned to Ethan, standing behind him, eyes glistening with pride. In a CNN interview, the host asked, "Ethan, why give away an $8 billion company to a stranger?" Ethan smiled faintly, eyes shimmering. He wasn't a stranger. 10 years ago, I was an intern at Daniel's old firm. I was ready to quit the industry, and he told me, "Be kind, because one day, you'll have the chance to change the world." That day, I made a promise. If I ever had the power, I'd return what he gave, me a chance. The host sat speechless. That clip hit 1 billion views in 15 days. Late at night, Daniel drove back to the street where he once slept in the rain. He sat on the same cold bench, staring at the dim streetlights. Nearby, a shivering homeless boy huddled by a trash bin. Daniel walked over, slipped off his expensive coat, and wrapped it around the boy's shoulders. "Stay warm, and remember, one day, opportunity will find you just like it found me." The camera pulled back, two small figures under the golden glow of streetlights, fading into the night as soft, haunting music swelled. The screen fades to black. Words appear. Do you believe in second chances? Comment yes if you've ever been underestimated, but never stopped believing in yourself.